Hello everybody, this is Brandon from Galaxy Stock Market. Today is June 28th, 2025. It's approximately 3:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just finally got my voice back, so you'll have to excuse my hoarseness. At least I could talk now. But it is important that I bring you this video. And the title is Silver is Warning. So let's get started. Why am I saying this? Here's the disclaimer. Pause it, read it. If you agree, please move forward. And we want to shameless plug on x.com/galaxy.market. Thank you everybody for following, and check us out for great content. All right, so I want to start out with this particular slide that was made during May 25th of this year. And it's obvious what everybody sees, and I'm not, trying to belabor the point here, but fact of the matter is we have a cup and a handle formation, and this area right now is where we are in, and it is basically holding above the 35.96-36 level, and that is significant because silver is one of the most suppressed assets in the world, and in order for the fiat money regime and the central banking debt-based economy to continue, gold and silver must be suppressed. And we already talked about in my video about 3 weeks ago that gold has already been hitting new highs almost on a monthly basis to weekly basis. Now there's been a little bit of a pullback from the relief of the fact that we're not going into World War III, and hopefully that will continue to stay the same. But this euphoric market rally since that time frame is just a retail chasing gains at this point. But we need to pay attention to this silver right here with this long-term cup and a handle. And it really is the 900-pound gorilla right here that we're looking at. And so what do I mean by that? When we look at the handle part of the silver, we have this nice little cup pattern, and you can even say that there is a cup and a handle pattern, but we did break out from this critical level right in this area, right here. Okay, this critical level that we broke out from is holding. I know we basically had various upticks in these from these pullbacks right here, denoted by these blue arrows. These are making higher lows, folks. All right, and this nice little cup pattern is basically going to challenge this 49.95 previous high set back in 2011. Okay, this is despite the historic and unprecedented levels of the silver slam crew action, which is basically J.P. Morgan, the precious metals exchange, COMEX, LBMA, and the global banks. They're running out of options because despite the fact that there's increasing levels of short positions on these silvers, it is no longer possible for them to do what I call the slam crew action, slamming these things down. What's been met is that all of these slams are being met with significant buying and delivery pressures at the COMEX and LBMA. Rumors are circulating that I think over at LBMA, they're running about 3 months behind on the delivery of the physical silver. So take that as you will. It's not confirmed, but that's what I'm hearing from my end. So when we look back at that previous slide that we looked at, this cup and a handle pattern, this is exactly where we are. We're right at that cusp, staying into that resistance zone, trying to break out above into that 44, 49 level. Okay, and I think that's going to happen. And why do I think that? I think that because when you look at the amount of the naked shorts that are present in the silver futures market, and that it is consistently holding above this critical level. We talked about this 30.22 level. We are well above that level. What we need to do now is to prove that for the next 2 to 3 days that we could hold above 36. Now, it may require some geopolitical events, some news or catalyst to do this, but realistically, it may not even be necessary to do that because a lot of the central banks, a lot of the global banks are now loading up on gold and silver, including China, which is underreporting their gold and silver uptake. Okay, so what we got is a situation, if you look at it closely, this is the front month silver contracts. And this dotted red line right here is the critical level. You notice that it keeps coming back. Even if it goes under, it tries to regain this level. This is where the battle is, folks. If we continue to hold this above this 35.95 level, currently at 36.165, we are going to take out this 37.405. And as we get above here, I believe that there's going to be some time and price action that needs to be caught up with. Silver needs to catch up to gold, okay? And that's pretty much what's going on at this moment. And so, given the fact that, the recent geopolitical events, everybody was worried that Trump was starting a World War III and all those other crazy stuff that has gone, I don't think those events are over yet. I think there are more black swan events, geopolitical tensions that are headed our way. And really, I think silver is poised to break out because it needs to catch up to the rest of the commodities at this point. Okay, I wanted to go over the most recent COMEX silver future managed money short positions. And right now, that's at 13,795 as of last week. If the 13,795 silver contracts are short, that is roughly equivalent to 68,975,000 ounces, which are naked short on silver. One thing I want to point attention to, since February, we have been having gradual but declining short positions. And what that means is that the big boys are covering their shorts, and I think it's really beginning to accelerate now as we head in. What these are telling you is that there is about to be a price explosion on the silver, okay? And so this is kind of puts it all into perspective, folks. Declining short position is short covering. If it takes continuous, gradual levels, we'll still be going up. I believe we're going to start hitting 40 to 45 within the next couple of weeks on silver, okay? And that's why I'm doing this video, because I don't believe these geopolitical tensions or this narrative that the Fed has any real powers in saving this economy. Part of it is that a lot of these interventions that's taken place is on the heels of printing excessive money, and that's where the inflationary pressure is, but no one wants to talk about it. And I don't know, it's because of my sickness or whatever. I just recently started thinking about Matthew 24:6-13, and it just kind of summarizes what may be going on in our world right now, okay? And you'll hear about wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. It has to happen, but the end is still to come. Nations will rise against nation. Sound familiar? Kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. And so what that is that I believe that the monetary system that's in place, the current fiat money system, is going away. And given the fact that most of the central banks and sovereign funds are accumulating gold like you would not believe, including silver, and yet silver's prices are massively suppressed, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Right? So, despite the massive intervention over the last couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, the debt and the currency market continues to signal the black swan event. The silver is holding above 36 despite the epic slam crew action from these bullion dealers, which is JP Morgan Chase and their cronies, Deutsche Bank. But I think that's coming to an end, folks. So I'm warning you. I'm giving a last bit of warning that, this rally, I think, is really largely driven by retail bag holders. Now, one thing I want to point it out is that dollar has been declining. And these rumors of wars and these geopolitical instabilities should, in the past, if dollar was really the reserve currency, should be skyrocketing way above 104. We need to be above 104.50 for any type of real evidence that the global economy is stabilizing, but it is not. In fact, we hit 96.997, and despite the stock market going higher, we have dollar declining, and that is telling you that U.S. is losing its place as a global reserve currency status. On top of that, Massive amounts of buyback from Treasury for unsubscribed 10-year bonds has been taking place on printed money. You wonder why the inflationary pressure remains. You wonder why there are these constant, threats of war, Israel attacking Iran, and all of these things. It's basically bankers' war. And despite that massive intervention, we could not get below 42.4, which is 4.24 in the real nominal yield curve. And that means that the bonds just are not being bought. There's no buyers. In the past, before some of the exposures of the Doge and with the U.S. aid and all of these things, there are no more conduits to hide these asset purchases. Okay, essentially, what our governments and the world governments are doing is they're printing debt, they're issuing debt, and because no one's buying, they're printing money to buy them back to create the illusion that there is demand. And this is exactly what this is saying. Okay. Stock markets are a function of massive printing of fiat money. That's all it is, okay? Which basically makes me wonder about what Trump is doing and things like that. I'm not going to go into that, but really the issue is you keep printing money, system is going to break, and this is why I'm warning you about silver. The dollar and 10-year yield is foretelling massive pain ahead and really calling bullshit to short-lived Trump pump. We're only hurting ourselves by doing this. There's no real benefit that could be achieved out of this. And I've always said, I think Trump is setting the United States up for a bankruptcy. Okay, this debt cannot be repaid, folks. Where are we on the S&P 500 since this artificial injection of stimulus in printed money? We really are going right back up into the upper trend line. And any time between now, it doesn't actually have to hit that level to fail. But this rally is false, folks. It's getting near the overhead resistance again. I want you to watch XRP, okay? Because it's going to be the global reserve currency. And when the liquidity crisis hits, XRP will be used to provide that liquidity, folks. It's not just cross-border payments and things. And it's suppressed because retail is not supposed to have these. Okay, there are further institutions. Okay, go buy them while you can. Not financial advice, but that's what I would do. Okay, so don't be these. Okay, be this guy right here. I know you're saying, well, I could have bought it at 15 cents and 18 cents. Well, that time has passed. But people have been saying that about Bitcoin at 2, Bitcoin at 30, Bitcoin at 300, Bitcoin at 3,000. Okay. Don't be this guy, these people getting in line to buying these at $1,000. Yes, it'll go higher, but not before the elites are dumping these on you, folks. Okay? So the question I have is, do you have XRP yet, right? I mean, like I said, you do what you need to do. This is my own opinion. Okay, so, and the fact is, despite all these things, the greed, this is retail greed. It's not institutional greed. Institutions are selling into this rally, folks. All right? Pain is coming, folks, soon. And VIX is now, and this is the other thing we have on my crush indicator, we have buy signals coming out. These are significant buy signals. We are above this ZLSMA 50. That is a clear-cut signal for a buy signal, which means that the stock market dislocation is coming, and silver explosion and on the precious metals prices, including gold, is about to move higher at this point, folks. So, in summary, silver is absolutely suppressed, but it won't last long. They are holding. For the first time, they're not succumbing to these silver slams that's happening. Gold to silver ratio still remains above 110-1. Silver, US dollar, 10-year Treasury yield, and VIX is telling you to not trust this rally. Silver explosion is coming soon. Whether you get the physicals or you want to do the, SLVs or whatever the case is, you may want to look into that, folks. All right, so in summary, I'm probably going to lose my voice doing this. Follow me at galaxy.market at x.com. Like us, share us, and above all, comment. I'm going to still post this on YouTube. Subscribe there if that's more convenient for you. Main thing is to heed this warning. I'm not right about a lot of things all the time. But this is a given. Don't fall into the trap of becoming exit liquidity. If you want to learn about working with me, email me at coachbrandon@protonmail.com and schedule a consultation. Okay, we have a vibrant community, a lot of content that you're not going to see on these videos. Okay, and everyone's doing fine, perfectly great. So thank you so much for listening. Be careful out there. Bye-bye.